Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel here once again today. Um, we starving. We starving. It's the Serie A still not back, but 19 days left or something. What's the here? 19 days left for the Serie A to kick off. So we're getting there. We're getting there. The excitement's building up, but meanwhile, all we gotta do, all we have is transfer news. I'm not too much of a fan of talking about transfer news, honestly speaking. I've never been a transfer rumor type of guy. My channel has never really focused too much on it, but it's all we've got right now. We're starving, and there are some interesting topics to talk about. So why not? Who's in the house, by the way? Let me know if you're in the house. I'll give you a quick shout out. Marco Gamero, what's up, bro? Where you tuning in from? Let me know where you guys are tuning in from as well. Always interesting to know where everyone's joining in. And obviously, if you're in here, make sure leave a thumbs up as soon as you join the stream. Helps it bump up in that YouTube algorithm. You know what I mean. That's what the YouTube algorithm loves. Some thumbs up, some interaction. So yeah, there's a few topics that I want to get through today. Interesting one. Cloud Shine, what's up, bro? No, I've only literally just started, so don't worry. It's nothing. You're not late. Toby from London. Hey, not too far from me, Toby. I'm from Leicester. You're from London, so only two hours away from London town. Where you from, Cloudshine? Let me know where you're from. Yeah, as you can see from the scroller down below, a few interesting topics to cover today, interrelated, but we're also going to look at general Serie A today. Like, there's been a lot going on, but actually not that much going on in the transfer market in Serie A in general. So we're going to take a look at all the transfers and look at maybe the most interesting ones, especially Inter fans. It feels like this transfer window has been a bit painful for us, but when you put it into perspective and you see what other clubs have done, there's actually not much going on. So there's not too much to be worried about at the moment. So that's why I want to look at the different what different clubs in Serie A have been doing compared to Inter. He's a Latino from Luxembourg. Wow, that's an interesting mix. Luxembourg. I don't think I know anyone from Luxembourg. So you're the first person I know from Luxembourg. So shouts out to you. It's your birthday, so happy birthday, bro. Feliz cumpleaños. Hoping for some good Inter news. Hey, man, we're all waiting for some good Inter news at the moment, but it's not really working out. Hey, Shubham from India, love your Inter videos. Thank you, bro. Thank you for joining from the motherland. Always appreciate love from the motherland. But yeah, the first topic I actually want to get into is not really too particularly burning topic, but I think it's quite an interesting topic that Inter are kind of working these deals with this Dutch second team called Volendam, and it's not the first player actually that's gone there to this team in the second division to Volendam. So let me just pull up the actual news. And the reason is why this relationship is building, I think, is because of their manager, their coach, head coach called Wim Jonk, who actually used to play for Inter, the Dutchman. And the news is relating to one of Inter's best talents from the Primavera, or from what I hear anyway, and from the videos I've seen, very interesting talent called Gaetano Oristanio. Where is he? There he is. On sempreinter.com as usual, translated. So Gaetano Oristanio joins the Erste Divise side Volendam on a loan after being convinced by the Dutch club's offer. So he's actually the second Inter player this summer that goes there. So Filip Stankovic, obviously Dejan Stankovic's son, the Inter legend, his son, who is a goalkeeper, he recently, just this past week, joined Volendam on a loan deal, and now Oristanio is joining him as well. Apparently, he's flown out there today. And last season, Samuele Mulattieri, a striker who scored 19 goals actually for them last season for Volendam, had a very good season for them in the second division in Holland. He's now gone to Crotone on loan in Serie B. So yes, it's the third Inter player going there, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if more go there. And I quite like it because when you think about it, I compared it to how Chelsea used the Vitesse. If you remember the other Dutch team, I think they were in the first division, but still, it's a good step. It's a good stepping stone between Primavera and proper pro adult football, because that's always been the problem in Italy. Because in other leagues, especially I don't know other countries, but in England there's a reserves league after the youth league, so there's like a middle stepping point. And in Italy there isn't. You go from Primavera, from little kids that you bully if you develop physically, to like straight to the adults. And it seems like a lot of these, especially Inter's Primavera has been one of the best in Italy for a long, long time, and in Europe. They always come near the top of the league. They won, Primavera leagues and trophies, a lot of things, but we just can't seem to get these guys into our first team. Like AC Milan's Primavera, who's actually pretty bad. They actually got relegated. That's how bad they are. But usually, like over the last decade or so, they've managed to get at least one or two talents into their team, which are obviously, Donnarumma, biggest example, but also, Calabria, who might not be, the most flashy name, but still is a guy that is a starter in their team coming from the youth team. And now maybe Di Marco might finally be that guy. Technically, Biraghi, you could say, was one of those guys a couple of seasons back, but we haven't really had someone like that since the Balotelli Santon days, that someone who comes in and becomes a mainstay in the team. So maybe these kind of deals where you send out these guys to a stepping stone, where, obviously the Dutch second division is probably not even as good as Serie B. It's probably like Serie C or Serie D level, but still it's still a middle ground between going from Primavera to adult football. So I quite like it. As I said, Wim Jonk is a former Inter player. I think he speaks Italian, so he helps them kind of integrate as well. I've seen an interview of Mulattieri as well. Obviously, you speak English out there. I don't think they learn Dutch. In Holland, everyone speaks English, so I think they just speak English, which hopefully now in Italy they do start to learn at an earlier age. When I used to live in Italy, it wasn't really taught at a good level. But yeah, I quite like the idea of this. What do you guys think of this kind of partnership of turning them into like a satellite team / B team for Inter, where these youth Primavera guys go and kind of develop their skills and stuff. Razor of Orion is in the house as always, one of the regulars. Today should have been Nanda's day. Hey man, I've been telling you guys, you're gonna keep hearing that tomorrow Inter are close to closing the deal. Tomorrow should be the day. Tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow. At the end of the week, they're gonna keep doing this. I've said this from the beginning of when this deal started. I said this is gonna take a while. I wouldn't be surprised if it's done mid to late August, even in the last week of August, just because of how the different chess pieces everything needs to be in place. And yeah, we'll talk about it. Don't worry, bro. I've only literally just started. It's only been 5 minutes. You're not late. I always try to slowly build up the topics in the live stream, so you don't miss out on the hot topics straight away. Arsenal fans are giving me a headache about Lautaro. Hey, tell me about it, man. Luckily, I don't follow too many Arsenal fans on my Twitter timeline, but I saw he was trending yesterday. I saw Lautaro and Martinez. Both of those names were trending on my Twitter, and I shouldn't have done it, but I did scroll through a few of the comments, and it was just like, oh my god, some of them are making out Lautaro to be like the savior. It's going to be like the best player ever, and some of them are making him out to be some sort of bum who, is not worth even the 70 million. Like, it's just, complete ignorance from a lot of them. Bet they haven't even watched Lautaro play apart from some highlights, and maybe they've tuned into a couple of Copa America matches. But yeah, you know how Premier League fans move. Yeah, it's a headache. Hey, noticing the fresh trim. Yeah, when this morning had a day off from work, so made use of it this morning. Yeah, Arsenal fans are just losing the jokers. I mean, not all of them. I know a few Arsenal fans that are very logical, but we know in general Premier League fans how those guys can be. It's just it's pain in the ass. I read they offered Bellerin and Lacazette for Martinez. Nah, man, that's that kind of thing. So the Arsenal. So let's talk about it. Everyone wants to talk about clearly about the Lautaro deal. So obviously Inter have been talking about the Bellerin deal with Arsenal, and all Arsenal have done, which is what David Ornstein on the Athletic confirmed, is Arsenal were just like, how Inter started talks with Nantes, is just like, they were talking about Nainggolan. They were like, what are you guys doing with with Nandes? And Arsenal did the same. They were like, that Lautaro Martinez guy. What's he saying? You guys selling him or what? So it's literally they're just kind of, I think it was just the initial inquiry, and obviously the contract situation, because it's a little bit up in the air at the moment. The media is using that as the fuel now of, Lautaro is not going to sign the contract. Lautaro wants to leave, or, Arsenal looking to, spend big. So it's just a combination of factors to kind of fuel this fire on the Arsenal slash Lautaro situation. But I'm calm on this situation, especially if it's related to Arsenal. Why would Lautaro go to Arsenal? First of all, I mean, looking at it from the player's perspective, obviously Premier League is like, the most watched league and the best league, whatever you can say. Like, obviously a lot of players want to play in the Premier League, which is fine. But a team that finished 8th, who have no direction at the moment, have got a coach that, shouldn't even be in the job really, compared if you look at the performance over the past year. Yeah, the squad is not really that good. Like, what's he gonna do? No international, no European football, no Champions League football, not even Europa League football, not even Conference League football, is it? So yeah, like there's literally no reason for Lautaro to go there first of all, and then Arsenal themselves, they're spending big this summer. They spent 50 million on Benjamin White. That Premier League English tax, crazy money for a player who just played one season for Brighton. But that's how Premier League works. They spend big on Pepe a couple of seasons back. They're spending big on these youngsters that are not particularly proven. They still have Aubameyang earning 350k a week on their books. What are they going to do with them? They got Lacazette. There seems like they're offering Xhaka a new deal, and I'm like, yeah, I don't see. And we want minimum 70 million, 80 million hard cash if you want to come talk to about Lautaro. That's how much we want. And I know a lot of you guys are split on Lautaro, but that's his value. Lautaro minimum 70 million. Then you come sit at the table to talk to us, and I don't see that happening. So I'm calm. The only real Lautaro, remember, was this Barcelona. But Barcelona brokies, they're just as broke as us. They got no money. They come into the table with these crappy offers. They were like, trying to offer us Junior Firpo, he's gone to Leeds. And they were trying to offer us Nelson Semedo, who's now gone to Wolverhampton. So yeah, that deal never really was up in the air, but Lautaro would have wanted to go to Barcelona. So that one made sense. But this one, I'm gonna sleep nicely at night if it's Arsenal that are gonna be linked with Lautaro. So calm. I am calm. Let's see what you guys are telling me. Your best friend is a Gunners fan. When I told him that they might get Lautaro, he just laughed and assured me they don't have enough for his shoes right now. See, he's a realistic Arsenal fan. These are the type of Arsenal fans I know in real life. And that's why I don't really have a problem with Arsenal fans, because the Arsenal fans I know, most of them are pretty grounded, realistic people with logic and some sense in them. So yeah, that's why I don't really have particular problem with them. Lautaro isn't indispensable. Yeah, that's true. That is true. We've talked about this when Hakimi was sold. We were saying that primarily most of the fan base was saying we'd rather sell Lautaro, but it's always easy to say that. Like, I remember, I always bring this point up. Everyone was saying like, oh, we should have sold Lautaro, but no one ever really came with a proper offer. So you can't say like we should have sold Lautaro. That's like saying we should have sold Langolan when no one ever actually offered money for him. That bummy Barcelona offer, I don't even count that. So come to us with a real offer, and then we can talk. So hey, more people join. Noticing the fresh cut. In the house, Max from the USA. I usually work when you stream, but I'm on vacation in Italy. Hey, nice man, getting hyped for the new season. Hey, same bro. I'm starting to get hyped, and we'll talk about the Serie A as we go along. 19 days before Serie A kickoff. Nah, bro, that's not a mistake. That's what we call it on this channel, Serie A. I don't know if you've missed it, because it is. That's what it is. It's a league we love. We love it, but it's a it's a dysfunctional league. Very badly organized, very poor marketing, very little money, but it's our favorite league. What can we do, man? It's the league that we love, but it is the Serie A. Unfortunately, it is ass league, but I prefer it to all of the leagues in the world, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But the marketing and the the whole way it is shown and marketed can definitely be changed and stuff. But we love it. We love it. If Lautaro leaves Inter for Arsenal, it's a sign that we need the Super League. Hey, Prem has too much power. Yeah, I mean, I never actually made a video on the Super League. I actually, when the whole thing was kicking off, I made a video, and I never actually posted it because I was just like, I just didn't know, it was too much up in the air. But my feeling on it was that Super League is never gone, because when you look at it, basic business practices, basic business laws, there's no way that UEFA can ban it, because UEFA at the moment are running a monopoly. They're running all the competitions, they've got a monopoly on football at the moment, and no business, no industry in the world should be allowed to have that. So I knew that court case was going to get kicked out straight away. So we're gonna see the Super League thing pop up again. I think they just need to rework the idea, the concept of it, the whole relegation, no relegation thing, and being some teams are always there. They kind of need to rework that. But that Super League thing is not dead, guys. It is not dead. And as Florentino Perez said, the clubs that took part in it are legally bound to it. They signed a piece of paper where they have to pay an exit fee, which none of them have paid. So legally, technically, all of those clubs are still in there. I don't care what these Premier League clubs come out with these statements just because their fans had a revolt, and even the Serie A clubs obviously followed all of these statements, but none of them actually said that they have left. And on paper, as Florentino Perez has confirmed, the Don Florentino, that's the Super League isn't there. So we'll see it pop up again soon, and it'll be interesting how it pops up again. They'll have to do it in a different way. Obviously, the way they did it last time, it received too much rejection, too much resistance. They need to do it in a little bit of a softer way. I think they need to rethink a few things. But Super League boys, we're still active. We're still active. Don't worry, guys. We're still active. And that's probably why Suning don't want to leave. They're still probably hoping for this 250 milli dropping in the bank account at some point soon. We will see Lautaro Instagram reference this season. Maybe next season he'll leave, but I doubt him. Nah, don't worry about Lukaku, bro. Lukaku is staying. Yeah, we'll see next season. I'm not saying he's staying for life, but this season he's staying. I have no worries. Grealish was 100, Martinez 140 easy. Hey man, but that's the Premier League / English tax. There's nothing we can do there. I mean, Lautaro's already achieved much more than Grealish probably ever will. Scudetto plus Copa America in his belt. Grealish, captain of Aston Villa, saved them from relegation once or twice. That's his achievement until now. Has he got a championship maybe as well, English championship? But yeah, it's just how it is. The English, you just have to ignore. It's a bubble. The English Premier League. You can't look at those prices. We've seen it with Maguire. 80 million is different. If you compare it to Italian La Liga, it just doesn't compare. Is the money over there? That's the Super League at the moment. So they're a separate league now. They play in a different rules. Yeah, I have ordered the new kit. It should be coming in the post soon. I've ordered it without the sponsor because that's the only way at the moment I could find it, because on the Inter store, my size L, it seems to be sold out. So I'm taking L's in that case. But the second kit, I'm gonna try get it, proper with the whole sponsor, and I never get names at the back, but this one I might try get Lukaku 9 at the back because it just looks too good with the away one with the blue font at the back. It just looks too good. Oh yeah, we're seeing some news around Bain there. This is a Fenerbahce keeper. I've not really looked into it, so I'm not going to talk about it today. And apparently Onana wants to wait for Inter, which would be a free transfer, free agent next season if he waits for one more season, which would be great, because then we can actually finally edge out Handanovic. If he wants to sign an extension, maybe for another season, then he can be the number 2. But then Onana can come in as maybe that number 1 keeper from next season on a free transfer. But we'll see. I would like that to happen. Something like that would be very smart and very cost savvy. But we'll have to see, because from what I read, Lyon are very close to completing a deal with him. They're just trying to negotiate with Ajax on actual fee, because he's banned until November, I believe. He's banned from actually playing football. So it would be good for him to actually play football somewhere as well before we sign him. We don't want him to be inactive for a year and a half if we sign him. If selling Lautaro would open the doors for Milinkovic, Savic, I wouldn't want. Forget about that. But that's the problem, guys. At the moment, if we sell Lautaro, it's just difficult to see, because Inter at the moment, as they've announced, they're trying to cut costs in terms of wages. They're trying to cut costs by 15 to 20%, as Antonello, the finance CEO, the CFO, has announced. It's just difficult. And then obviously we still have to make those 70, 80 million passive positive income on the books. So even if we do sell Lautaro for the 70, 80 million, and it will be, big plus Valenza, big capital gain, I still don't see Inter investing heavily. That's the issue at the moment. So that's why it doesn't make sense to sell Lautaro. But yeah, let's talk about the contract headache at the moment, which is the title of the video. Let me share my screen with you guys. So with Lautaro, as it says here, no offers have actually arrived. As I was saying, there's no actually offer from Arsenal. It's just they just made an initial inquiry because they were talking about Bellerin, and they just kind of threw it out there. So the contract situation with Lautaro is his contract ends not next year, in two years, June 2023. So there's not a pressing issue. But what happened with Lautaro's contract is his previous agent had almost an agreement pretty much done around February, March time, I think it was, for around 4.5 million net. Because at the moment he earns, what is he? Apparently at the moment he earns 2.7 million net per season, which is, very low for a player of his quality, just about over what Pinamonti earns. So obviously that needs to be, remedied. He can't be on that if you have the season that Lautaro's had, and the reputation and the amount of money that you want for Lautaro. If he's a 70, 80 million player, you have to pay him like a 70, 80 million player. There was those contracts talk with obviously Barcelona, who apparently before the pandemic were offering 10 million per season. But then he changed agents after that 4.5 million kind of agreement. It seemed like there was a stalling, and then he actually fired that agent. He got rid of that agent, and now he is using the same agent that Ashraf Hakimi uses. I think is Camacho. I forgot his name exactly. So, and that entourage now is asking for a little bit more. They're trying to ask for kind of Lukaku money around the 6 and 7 million mark, which obviously that might be a little bit too much now, because I don't think Lautaro has proved that much yet to be getting that kind of Lukaku money. So I think in the end, I think Lautaro will stay at Inter definitely this season in my eyes. If he's going to be sold, I think he will be sold next year when he has 1 year left on his contract, and if a new contract isn't agreed. But Inter will try to negotiate a new contract. So Nerazzurri will await the presence of Martinez, his agent in Italy, to begin talks over an extension, but only expect the situation to be dealt with after August 31st, so when the transfer window is closed. And the players only focus now on preparing the season with the squad and the manager Inzaghi that is back in training. I reckon, and I've read, the deal will probably be done around, Inter are going to try to offer him more around 5.5 million net. I think that's where the deal will be done, kind of meet halfway. They're asking for six or seven. The original offer was around 4.5. So I think they will meet halfway and the deal will be done there. And I think that's the right price for Lautaro, still 22, 23 years old, ready to take that next step in his career. I think Lautaro will stay. I don't think he's going to be one of those guys who's going to stay Inter forever. We've seen, he's always talked about Barcelona being his, dream club. Real Madrid also, obviously they're kind of broke at the moment as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if Real Madrid, when they fix their financial situation next season or the season after, they come in for Lautaro. I definitely see him going to one of the Spanish clubs for sure. Atletico Madrid have also been, he's definitely a El Cholo type player. Simeone would love him. especially after, if Luis Suarez leaves. I think he would be the perfect replacement for Luis Suarez in that system. So I definitely see him going to one of those clubs, but not this season. I think next season is if it does happen, that's when it will happen. But let's see. I'm not worried about the Lautaro situation, and for the moment, it's not a pressing concern for me. I mean, Grealish is more talented than Lautaro. Yeah, I would say, Grealish is a very, very elite talent. He's one of those. I really like Grealish. Prem fans bitch about the Super League being a breakaway league, but the Premier League is a breakaway league. Yeah, that's what exactly what I said, King Darian. I agree. Harry says he ordered the away kit today. Hey, nice, bro. With Barella at the back. Hey, that's gonna look nice with the 23. Hopefully, I don't jinx him like I jinxed Sensi last season. Nah, bro, you didn't jinx Sensi. Sensi was already jinxed. His muscles are just jinxed in general. The boy. Hopefully, this might be the season where he breaks through. But yeah, it definitely wasn't you, Harry. Don't worry. You're not gonna jinx Barella. I've got faith. I got Lukaku on the back, so I might get Barella this time. Yeah, I was conflicted between Lukaku, Barella, or Skriniar. I really like Skriniar. I think he's gonna be at this club for a long, long time. So, but he's got a weird number, hasn't he, Skriniar? So it just doesn't look that nice at the back. Or even Bastoni, yeah. But yeah, I think I'm edging towards Lukaku 9, because I feel like Lukaku's not going to be here for a long, long time, and I want to get a kit that commemorates what he did. And that Scudetto patch, man, it just looks so good. The way they've embedded the Inter logo into the patch. I've seen the way it looks. It just looks amazing. So yeah, definitely gonna try get both kits this year. Usually I try to get one maybe, but this year I think I just love both of the kits. Who would replace Lautaro with? Hey man, that's the thing. The second striker position is probably something. It's a position that you can find loads of replacement with, because you don't necessarily have to find. There's different ways you can find a replacement for Lautaro if we go down that route, because you can either do what other clubs have done in the past, or in the 3-5-2, the second striker, it can be someone who's a winger / attacking mid player, like a Joaquin Correa Lazio, who's not a striker per se, or even a second striker, but you can adapt him to that role. Or you can have you can convert someone that was a winger before, like we've seen in the past with the likes of if you change the formation like Conte did at Chelsea, where he changed it to a 3-4-2-1, you can have two winger type players behind a Lukaku type player. So you can go about it in different ways, or you can try to adapt a proper striker into a second striker. So people are talking about the Belottis of the world, or a Luka Jovic of this world. But when you talk about Lautaro, replacing a guy who scored 17 goals, non-penalty goals, by the way, that is a very difficult job. It's not as easy as you think. And this guy, when you look at the main thing that's going to be difficult about replacing Lautaro is his off the ball work. When you look at it, he's the best in his position. He's the best off the ball presser. Okay, wait, let me rephrase that. He's the best off the ball pressing striker in the world. And you can see that with the interception he's made. He's up there with Junior Messias, which he plays more, a little bit deeper as well. But he's in the 98th percentile when it comes to interceptions. He's right up there when it comes to blocks. 1.47. He's like having an added defender in the team. Look at that, 1.47 blocks. These are the things that he performs best in. Passes blocked, 1.2 per 90. And then he's very high in terms of output, in terms of shots. Yeah, okay, he's not the most high converting guy, but 3.73 shots per match. He has a go. Like he likes to have a pop at goal. Whereas Lukaku is a little bit more frugal. He's a little bit more efficient with his shooting. Look at that shot. Defensive actions that led to a shot attempt. He's in the 94th percentile, 0.14. Shots blocked, touches in the attacking penalty. Like he's He ranks very high in all of those things: tackles plus interceptions, pressures in the attacking third. Look how high he performs in those. Who's he up there with? Jonathan David with 11, and he's up there with 8.4. Successful pressures, he's up there with Yusuf Poulsen in the who obviously plays in that counter pressing system, RB Leipzig. Non-penalty XG and X assist 0.64. He's up there with the best. It's gonna be hard to replace a player like this, man. It's gonna be very hard to replace a player like this. It's for me, the most similar player to Lautaro, in my opinion, is Luka Jovic. But this is the Luka Jovic that played at Eintracht Frankfurt. In terms of his size, his build, he's similar to Lautaro. He's kind of short. He's a little bit stockier and a little bit musclier than Lautaro, but he's just as fierce. Or when he was at Eintracht anyway, I kind of everyone's kind of lost sight of him since he's been at Real Madrid, and he's had his injury issues and maybe mentality issues. But he reminds me a lot of Lautaro in the way that he played in that system, the way he played off Sebastian Haller. Eintracht Frankfurt played that 3-5-2 where Sebastian Haller was the main kind of Lukaku guy, and then Jovic kind of played off him in the Lautaro type of way, where he thrived off Haller's hold-up play and physical play, and he was the one kind of scoring most of the goals. And he could be available on more of a cut price deal, especially, clearly he's not in Zidane's plans. They bought him for 60 million a couple of seasons ago, and he's not worked out. He's probably available for half the price. He'd probably be available on a loan. If that happens for me, he would be my choice, but it would be a big gamble. It would be a big gamble because he's had 2 seasons of nothing, pretty much, a lot of injuries and not many goals. Inzaghi would have to do some work on him mentally, physically, to get him back to speed. But I think in Inter's current situation, I think Jovic would be one I would be willing to gamble on. Vlahovic would be too similar to Lukaku for me. He's left-footed. He's a big striker. He likes to play with his back to goal. He likes to drift off those same positions that Lukaku does. And I don't think he would be as good if you make him play on that left-hand side. So I think he would be too similar to Lukaku there. It would just be having 2 number 9s, straight up number 9s, 2 left-footed straight up old school number 9s up playing. So I don't think Vlahovic would be a good. And as we've seen with Inzaghi as well, he prefers to have a Joaquin Correa type player next to when he played Immobile. Caicedo played sometimes as well next to Immobile, but it seemed like Caicedo was more of the Immobile sub, So I think you can see from how Inzaghi played that he likes to have a more creative guy behind the number 9 as well. So I would go for more of a second striker / winger, smaller forward in the Lautaro type of frame in that position. Also, there was talk of what was the guy that played for Hertha Berlin? What was his name? Snudgeth, you probably, if you're in the house, you'll remind me of the guy's name, the Brazilian guy. His name escapes me now. Hey, Sunit in the house, my uncle from Dubai. The new haircut looks nice. Which Inter player has the most drip at Inter? I mean, he never plays, but it's probably who is it? Probably Valentino Lazzaro, because even though he never plays, he seems like he's got some drip. But unfortunately, he doesn't actually show it on the pitch. But in general, Inter's not a very drippy team. Hakimi, when he came in, he was kind of drippy. He used to get fresh trimmed often, and his fashion sense was pretty good. But apart from that, Inter have quite a boring team. Lukaku tries, but I don't really rate Lukaku's drip most of the time. He's kind of hit and miss. Barella clearly doesn't give 2 flying F's about fashion or anything. Brozovic is, we don't even need to talk about Brozovic's drip. Nainggolan is probably a drippy player, but he's got the tattoos and the new kit just looks wavy on him. But again, it's not a very drippy team in general. It's it's an easy win probably there for Valentino Lazaro. And unfortunately, Brozo has the most drip. Yeah, I will disagree. I mean, his new haircut with the new hair color, he does look quite nice. But yeah, in general, I wouldn't really say Inter is a particularly drippy team. Shana just is in the house actually. Hakan, Vidal, Brozo, Agume, Sensi, Bare, Gaglia, Vecino. We are way too stacked in midfield. Yeah, that is leads me on to the next point for the contract situation that I want to talk about. Brozovic. So Brozovic is actually a pressing situation. You know, Lautaro, as I've said, I'm not really too worried about because he's got 2 years left. So has De Vrij. I think that's just the media kind of, using the fuel for everything that's going around with the Arsenal situation. Brozovic is a more of a pressing situation that's not been talked about too much. He earns, here it says 4.2, but I believe it's around 3.5 that he earns net per season. It might be 4.2 with bonuses and stuff. As Corriere dello Sport says, they're going to meet with Brozovic's father, who's his agent. Very Brozovic thing to do, having his dad as his agent. So next week, they're going to take place with meetings face to face, but a remote meeting is probably also possible. One of those Zoom meetings, as you know, most people do these days. I'm sure Sunit will tell you all about those. And yeah, he's asking. Obviously, if you think about it, Brozovic has been one of the best midfielders in the Serie A for 2 or 3 seasons now. Once again, last season, one of the best midfielders, very underrated. I mean, you look at it, the likes of Aaron Ramsey out there, Adrian Rabiot out there earning 7.5 million net. You know, they earn as much as Lukaku. And he's obviously, thinking to himself like, yo, I deserve that kind of, I'm one of the best, if not the best midfielder in the Serie A at some points. And I deserve that kind of salary, quite rightly. 1 year left on his contract. So he has got a lot of leverage as well with Inter, because when you think about it, yes, Inter could sell him, and a lot of the selling him would yield Inter a lot of plusvalenza, a lot of capital gain, because he's been here for 5-6 years now. His cost has been pretty much fully absorbed in the Inter account. So if you sell Brozovic now for 20-30 million, it's pretty much pure profit in Inter's books. But at the same time, finding a center defensive midfielder, a regista in this market, it's gonna cost you a lot more than 20-30 million. So it makes sense for Inter to really renew this guy's contract. Is expected the discussions will start with a figure of just above 5 million a year, which I think makes sense. There was rumors of him and Paredes from PSG doing a swap deal last year where he would have earned about 8 million a year, but I'm not sure how real those talks were. Again, I believe these are just kind of those market rumors that I don't really believe in most of the time. So I think, similar to Lautaro, I think they will find an agreement around that 5 million mark, which I think is fair for someone of Brozovic's quality. It seems like Brozovic is not really keen on leaving. We've seen him; he seems to be pretty settled in Milan. He's got a family, he's got kids. He's very well, inserted into the Inter dressing room, as we know. And as we saw today, his best friend at the club, Barella, is back. His buddy, who he always tortures, and he's already torturing. He's only been back for a day, Barella, and he's already torturing him. Let me get the video up of it that he posted on his Instagram. Bare, dove sei, Bare? That's his favorite line that he always tortures Barella with. There he is, hotel room. Barella's already, back from his holiday, already fed up of Brozovic. He's like, leave me in peace, please. But yeah, Brozovic, as we know, he's just one of those favorite characters in the Inter dressing room. So it just makes sense, I think, to renew Brozovic. He's one of those that I feel like is definitely a position that you could improve the Brozovic position, in my opinion. I like Brozovic. He's one of my favorite players in Inter, but I always felt like that position is someone where you could probably get someone of a little bit higher quality. But again, where are you going to find a guy that covers 20, 12, 13 kilometers a match? Like every season, he's the number one in terms of kilometers covered. It's difficult to find someone that does that dirty ball, off the ball work. Cunha, that was the guy. That's the one. Thank you guys for helping me. Cunha, that was the guy, the Hertha Berlin guy, to possibly have that second striker role. You know, those kind of guys. Lukaku drip lord, yeah, I don't agree. He's kind of hit and miss. Some days he's good, some days he looks like he's picked up his uncle's clothes or something from Congo or something. So I'm not really sure on Lukaku. Sad that none of them have drip, considering they're located in the fashion capital of the world. Yeah, that's the if Hector Bellerin comes in, he is by default the drippiest player at Inter. Straight away when he comes in, Hector Bellerin, he would be the drippiest player at Inter. He's got some questionable ones, you know, obviously. For some of the older demographic, you might think that he's got a very weird fashion sense, but for my demographic and my kind of, because I'm into streetwear and stuff, I feel like Bellerin, he's definitely, or Bellerin, he's definitely a lot more drippy. He's very much into the fashion scene, streetwear scene, and he would enjoy being in Milan, into the Milan. I would see him, his Instagram would pop off with the, you know, fashion posts of him and being in Milan if he joins. But yeah, I'm not really sure about Lukaku. That guy, you know, he just wears the colors that he wears sometimes like mismatching and stuff. When he joined into the suit that he was wearing, it looked like it was like not very tailored. It wasn't fitting properly. So yeah, I think he could be Lukaku, but he's got some work to do. In my opinion, I'm not claiming to be some fashion lord or, you know, drip lord, but that's just my opinion. I just feel like Lazzaro seems to be the one that kind of gets it right. De Vrij, drip lord, yeah. De Vrij is like, you know, he's just the basic, you know, he doesn't do anything wrong. At least he just, you know, he's just okay. Hey, Gerald in the house, what's up, bro? There is no such thing as drip when it comes to Bellerin and his mustache. Hey, that's what I'm saying. He's got a little bit of weird taste. He's got these kind of, you know, he tucks in his t-shirt. He's got like, you know, wears like very baggy jeans and things like that. But in general, I would say he's definitely into the scene, though. He's definitely into the scene. But yeah, what do you guys make of Brozovic? I'm not seeing too many comments on the Brozovic situation. What are you guys making of Brozovic? Would you, 1 year left on his contract, would you keep Brozovic or would you sell him, and would you offer him a new contract? Let me know on the Brozovic situation. I'm not seeing any comments relating to Epic Brozo. Victor says he doesn't want to be a downer, but this situation this summer is Zhang's fault. It's his company, not Inter, who are in the mud, and there were several takeover bids by others, such as Qatari billionaires. Yeah, I agree with you in part, Victor. There were offers, but that Qatari one wasn't really. It doesn't seem like it was particularly. They weren't particularly convinced, because there's a few issues that are due to Zhang's fault, because a lot of the way Inter's has increased the revenue is thanks to Zhang, you know, pumping it kind of artificially with these Suning sponsoring, you know, the training center, Suning sponsoring the training kits. A lot of the Chinese sponsor that came in are very closely related to Suning. So I've read on Bloomberg and a lot of very reputable financial sources that the only real offer was from BC Partners, and they weren't meeting Suning's valuation really on the valuation of Inter, so they kind of lowballed it, and there wasn't any other proper offers on the table. So you're right, it is Zhang's fault, and the way they've mismanaged the situation in China. They bought a lot of businesses, a lot of brick and mortar businesses that obviously after the pandemic kind of just didn't work, and they've lost a lot of revenue and money. And yeah, their Suning business in general isn't looking very rosy at the moment, which is obviously their fault. And that's you know, when you're running a business, if it goes down the drain, it is your fault. So Inter have suffered as a consequence of their main business suffering. But on the not selling part is, you know, you're gonna sell if you get the right offer. Like, why would you sell to, if you don't get the right offer, it does. You can. It's easy for us to say like just sell, even if you're not getting the right offer. So I agree with you. It's definitely Zhang's fault, but you gotta come right with the money. You gotta come through with the right offers. You can't just lowball us with these offers. Sharma would hate my drip. I would wear a t-shirt, shorts, and the gold AP offshore. Hey man, I like that. If you're wearing a gold AP, simple guy, that's Lukaku's drip. So yeah, that's probably why you like Lukaku's drip. And I would rate you for that, man. Go with the gold AP. Jesus Christ, jeez, we got we got Jesus Christ in the chat. Brozo stay only if Kante can come and then he can leave. I mean, probably Antonio Conte would come running back if we signed N'Golo Kante. Occasionally has a stinker, but without Brozo, Conte ball wouldn't have worked. Plus, he brings a fun side to the midfield. It gets along well with the others. Yeah, we would lose the weirdest duo. Him and Barella, definitely the weirdest guys in Serie A. We would lose that weird duo if he leaves. But yeah, as I said, the grounds that Brozovic covers, you would lose that. It's difficult to replace that. Difficult to replace, as Ahmad says, finding a guy with that work rate. Also, Inzaghi seems to like him. Yeah, from what I heard, Inzaghi wants to keep him and build the midfield around him. And also, Hakan's come in. Hakan's on a 5 million net salary. So obviously, I think Brozovic deserves a 5 million salary as well. Shine would keep Brozovic as well. Sanjar says he would keep Brozovic as well. Yeah. Harry says we should keep Brozovic. Yeah, everyone seems to be on the keep Brozovic train. Yeah, I think if you haven't got used to it yet, you just have to. It's just how he is. I think some people used to think as a bad attitude type thing, but I always kind of saw from the beginning that it always felt like he was kind of moaning at himself, or it was just the way he does things. It's just how he is. There are some people who just moan, just love a moan, and Brozovic is one of those guys, always with the flappy arms. But just as how it is, and I've grown to just accept that and kind of almost love that. He can be annoying sometimes, slowing the game down, but he's extremely valuable. Exactly, bro. Keep Brozo, he's got the same attributes as Cambiaso, solid CDM. Yeah, he's definitely improved in that off the ball. He's becoming really good at reading the game, which wasn't his best attribute. He was a little bit lost. He was just running a little bit headless chicken at times, but now you can see he's a lot more. His IQ has improved over the years. He knows where to be in the right position at times and sweeping up and getting interceptions. He's not as headless as he was before. Any update on Eriksen? Yeah, so Eriksen is coming to Milan at some point this week. They've said, I think it might be even tonight or tomorrow, that he's landing in Milan. He's gonna do his test. He's gonna talk about with the Inter doctors, with the team, on what to do with his with that defibrillator, or that whatever that device is that they're gonna implant or they have implanted in him. And yeah, we'll see. We'll wait for news on that. But I'm looking forward to just seeing him with the team. Maybe seeing some pictures of him with the team, with the players, with the staff. Yeah, it'll be nice to get some pictures of him. And maybe even if he does an interview, you never know. But he's quite he's a reserved character, reserved guy. I doubt he will do any sort of interview. But it would be nice if he, says something just to, let us know how he's doing. It would be just nice to get an update from him. But yeah, we should get some sort of Eriksen update this coming week. So fingers crossed for him, man. Fingers crossed. If Inter is your car, Brozo is your engine. Yeah, I like that one. He really is, man. He really is. He's that diesel engine who, he's a reliable engine. The rumor is if we don't keep Brozovic, then we bring in Pjanic. No, I don't really see that happening. Pjanic is on a crazy salary at Barcelona. And they signed him for like 60 million the past season. I know they have to get rid of a lot of their players due to their fan situation, but I don't see that happening. But I like Pjanic, I think Pjanic, before he left, I think he was the best midfielder in Serie A. He had a bad final season at Juve under Sarri, but before that, I felt like at Roma as well. I felt like I really liked him when he was at Roma, and then he took that next step up when he was at Juve with Allegri. But he's been off the radar. He's not been that good last few seasons. He would be another one that you kind of you have to bring him up again to his level. His salary is way too high, so I wouldn't be too keen on bringing Pjanic. Everton apparently withdrew their offer for Dumfries. Would it make sense to sign both Nandes and Dumfries? That's a good point, and one of the points I wanted to cover regarding Dumfries. There's been a PSV expert said that, as we know, guys, the only way Inter are going to sign players at the moment is with loans, with options to buy. And in Holland, they don't play that game. Only in Italy, you're going to help, or maybe some other teams that they have to sell players. PSV they're not in a financial difficult moment. They don't have to sell Dumfries. They're not going to do an option to buy type of loan at the moment, unless it goes into the final days of the transfer window and Dumfries is still there and he's announced that he wants to leave. He wants to, try a new adventure. He wants to step up finally from PSV. But apparently to a PSV expert, he says that at the moment, impossible that Dumfries joins Inter because they want 15 to 20 million for the 25-year-old. Everton apparently have got some financial fair play issues, which mean they also can't buy him, which is, funny. At least there's finally one English club that's feeling some sort of financial fair play effect finally. But yeah, I don't see it happening with Dumfries because they just want straight up cash, 15 to 20 million, and Inter don't have that at the moment. If this happens, the Dumfries thing, it would happen towards the end of the transfer window. But yeah, Nandes coming in doesn't mean that no wing back will be signed. But for me, if we're investing, as I've saying, if we're investing in Nandes, so at the moment, the deal for Nandes being discussed is a 3 million loan plus a 26, 27 million redemption fee. So overall, you're talking about 28, 30 million euros. I don't see Inter spending that on a Barella backup or on a Çalhanoğlu alternative, or a Brozovic alternative. If they're spending a possible 28, 30 million now, they're spending that for the Hakimi replacement. But if they're able to get a proper right wing back like a Bellerin on loan or a Dumfries for the right conditions, they will try to bring someone in. But then someone else has to leave the midfield, as Snudge just pointed out earlier. The midfield at the moment is way too stacked. We've got way too many people in midfield. Inter are still trying to reduce the cost of staff of wages by 15-20%. So people need to leave regardless, whether it is Vidal, whether it is Sanchez, Perisic, one of these high earners. Space needs to be made in the team regardless of what happens. But yeah, Nandes coming in doesn't mean that a proper wing back won't come in. But for me, if no one moves out, if Vidal doesn't move out, if Vecino doesn't move out, wages space isn't made, I think this is how it will be. Nandes is coming in as a wing back replacement, such as help by Dumfries. Can we sign Haaland? Jeez, guy. Leighton, bro. I don't want to be a channel of doom and gloom, but yeah, forget about it, bro. Forget about it. I'm sorry to be doom and gloom on you, but Haaland right now, bro, we haven't got the capabilities. We're not that guy, like that meme. You ain't that guy. You're not that guy. We're right now into don't have the capabilities. We don't have the minerals for those kind of moves, bro. We gotta wait it out for a little bit. But yeah, speaking of the Nandes deal, obviously he's connected to Raja Nainggolan, our guy, our Indo King, alcoholic Indo King. So the deal at the moment is stalled because Cagliari are asking for a heavy initial loan fee. So they want 5 million upfront from Inter, similar to kind of the Barella deal that Inter did or the Tonali deal that Brescia did, where the Barella one was obligation to buy, so there was no doubts in that. But by making it a heavy upfront money, it makes it that it will be stupid not to buy the guy because you've already invested so heavily in him. So Cagliari won. They're happy to give Inter the option to buy, because with the option to buy on the books, it doesn't look like you don't have to put it down as a purchase. So That's kind of a way around for Inter to circumnavigate the the rules. So on the books, if you sign Nandes on a loans with option, it only looks like a loan. But if you sign him with a loan with the obligation, you have to register him as a purchase. So Cagliari won 5 million. Inter at the moment are offering 2 million upfront fee. So there's a 3 million gap at the moment. And guess what? Nainggolan earns around 4.5 million net salary. And if Inter loan out Nainggolan to Cagliari and pay 2/3 of his salary, lo and behold, that's around about that 3 million gap that Inter need to make up with Cagliari for the Nandes deal. So, oh my days. So it looks like that might be the deal clincher now. And that's why the Nainggolan deal has also been stalling for a while. Apparently, Raja at the moment is in Sardinia to finalize his deal with the Sardinians, with Cagliari. So it looks like, once again, the Nerazzurri will pay a significant portion of his wages to convince the Rosso Blu on the move for Nandes. An agreement has proved difficult to reach between the three parties because of the wages, as Nainggolan earns quite a bit. Inter, because if Inter, if you try to do what we did with João Mario, it would, if you pay him off to leave, first of all, you have to pay Nainggolan off. As we said, we're trying to give him 1.2 million. He wants 2. So you have to, there's that cost of paying him off. But there's also, on the books, it would incur a minusvalenza, so a loss on the books, because on the books, Nainggolan has still a residual value on the books of around, I don't know, I'm just saying off the top of my head, but it should be around the 5 or 6 million mark. So his value on the books is still 5 or 6 million. So if Inter just let him go on the free, you would lose out on that 5-6 million on the books. So it comes down as a loss on the books, plus that 2 million payoff. So if you loan him out on his last year of his contract, at least you don't incur a loss. Yes, you lose him out on a free next year, but at least you finally get rid of him on a permanent. We finally get rid of him. He's finally done. You got him. The leech is finally gone off our books. Cagliari get their man. I think maybe we don't have to, as it says here, Inter pay 2/3 of his net 4 million salary, which is 3. Maybe you might come to an agreement around pay half of his wages, around 2 million net, which would be 4 million gross. That might be how things come to fruition. But guys, it will be done. As I've been saying since the beginning, Nandes really wants Inter. Inter really want Nandes. Inzaghi apparently wants Nandes to come as soon as possible so he can start working with him and integrate him in the team. Nandes has a kind of gentleman's agreement with Giulini, the Cagliari president, that has kind of promised him that he would let him leave for a bigger club this summer. So all the cogs are pretty much there. It's just going to be a waiting game of finding these little details to iron it all out. But Nandes will be an Inter player by the end of this window. So yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Barry Kane, Harold Kane, yeah, man. That's an interesting topic that's developing in the Premier League, which I would like to talk about at some point. But yeah, we don't have quite enough time today. Can't we put Raja on furlough? That would be nice. Just contribute like a percentage of his salary and just let him just live out his days and party or whatever you want to do. All of this Raja nonsense is because of my base Spalletti. Hey man, it's true. But that's what with these all of the coaches have their obsessions. Conte had a Vidal obsession, and now we're struggling to deal with Vidal and his wages. But he just wanted Vidal, and we got it for him, and we got the title. Spalletti wanted Nainggolan, and Nainggolan, let's not forget, he still did score that Champions League clinching goal, guys. As much as you want to, clown him, and he has been a flop for Inter, financially speaking, has been a disaster, but he did score that Champions League clinching goal against Empoli. So let's not forget that. He still was worth that 40 million Champions League money at one point. But you gotta do it for what your manager wants. Inzaghi seems like he's not that type of manager who wants someone specifically at the moment. So we'll see. Hey, Ridwan in the house. Thank you for joining, bro. One final thing that I wanted to cover, guys, is the Serie A. Actually, first of all, speaking of Inzaghi now has his full squad at his disposal now, finally. Barella's back from holiday. Bastoni's back from holiday. Lautaro Martinez is back from holiday. So the last three remaining guys from, they had the extended holidays because they deserved it, because they played up until the end of the international tournaments. Perisic is back. The South Americans are back. Vidal, Sanchez, all those guys are back. So now Inzaghi has his full squad. He's got, around about 3 weeks now to work with his full squad, get his tactics in place, get his squad chemistry in place. We've got 2 official friendlies lined up at the moment, but I'm sure Inter will try to line up a couple more in between then to get the guys ready and fired up, because we had to cancel that Florida Cup, which wasn't great. So we've got Parma on the 8th. We got Dynamo Kiev on the 14th. So I think in between those, Inter will try to at least set one more decent level friendly up. You got to have a decent level team that you play against to get the guys, used to playing higher level games, because you do need those high level friendlies to get ready for the seasons. So we'll see who those will be. So I'm looking forward to see what Inzaghi can do now. There's no real injuries. I think Sanchez has got a little injury issue. Gagliardini's got a little injury issue. I think Vecino's got a little issue as well. But apart from that, it seems like there's a full squad there ready for him to go. Just waiting on the Nandes deal and obviously a few of the outgoing deals. But yeah, Inzaghi is ready to cook and let Limone cook now. Paki Show, yeah. If you wanna rewind back, we talked about it briefly. Lautaro, we talked more about the Arsenal thing, really, but I said that Lautaro would probably go more to Spain if it happens. And yeah, Atletico would be perfect for him, but I don't see it happening this summer. I think he's gonna stay for sure, in my opinion, because he's got 2 years left on his contract. It's not a pressing issue, in my opinion. But yeah, I wanted to close out the video talking about general Serie A transfers, because I see a lot of Inter fans are kind of panicking about what's going on at Inter. But when you look at it overall in Serie A, guys, there's not much going on, especially our direct rivals. Like Atalanta signed Matteo Lovato yesterday, or today has been made official, I guess. 8 million from Hellas Verona. Not really a guy that moves the needle for them. And it looks like Christian Romero might be leaving for 55 million to Spurs, so they'll have to replace him. Other interesting deals: Arnautovic coming from China to Bologna. That would be a nice one. Bologna doing some, finally, that's an ambitious deal. They've always had a decent squad. I feel like they should be doing better than they have been under Mihajlovic, to be honest. I think he's been a little bit underachieving. I think that Bologna team can be pushing for top 10, and especially now with Arnautovic, is going to be a good, obviously, treble winner. Arnautovic, put some respect on his name. But yeah, when you look at it elsewhere, Juventus haven't done much. They've loaned out Frabotta to Hellas Verona. They've loaned out Marco Piazza for the 15,000th time to Torino this time around. What else? Oh, Joe Lobi's back in Serie A with the newly promoted Salernitana team. And Dalbert to Cagliari. Zinho went to Genoa, as we know. But the other teams, guys, not much has been happening. AC Milan have spent 60-something million to pretty much confirm the team that they already had last year, apart from Mike Maignan and Giroud. So kind of moving slightly up, spending 60 million to kind of slightly move up in terms of quality, or maybe even down, you could say, because we don't know about Maignan. Like, he had a great year in Ligue 1, but I haven't really watched him play. He's definitely at the moment a step down from Donnarumma. So yeah, we'll have to see. Obviously, Giroud is a great step up in terms of from Mandzukic, who barely got any playing time last year, and I would love Giroud at Inter. But yeah, apart from that, they lost Hakan as well. You could say they've only moved sideways or even downwards and spent 60 million. Juve have been negotiating for Locatelli for the past 2 months. It looks like every day I read about a lunch meeting or some sort of meeting, and nothing seems to get done from Juve, and their midfield is still a mess at the moment. And yeah, they haven't really, fixed their midfield. Has been their issue for the last 3 or 4 seasons, and they haven't really fixed that issue. Who else? Yeah, I'm not really seeing much else. Obviously Lazio bringing in Sarri has been great, and bringing in Felipe Anderson back has been great, but there's a lot big. It's not that much, to be honest, to get excited about, to be scared about. Atalanta are probably the team that's been doing the best business. Bringing in an upgrade on Golini in the name of Juan Musso. Yeah, Bologna again with Bonifazi is another decent upgrade for the defense. Roma, Brian Reynolds made official. Tomori, that's been a great signing for AC Milan, but again, he was already pretty much a confirmed one. And yeah, like nothing else really, has there? Like Napoli have done nothing. Spalletti hasn't been given anything to work with at the moment. The Insigne situation is still up in the air. His contract renewal situation. Even Juve, the media loves to talk about bloody Lautaro Martinez, even though he's got 2 years left. But Dybala has only got 1 year left on his contract, and so has Insigne. And I don't really see as much being made of those situations in the media. So, yeah, Serie A has been quiet in general. So I think Inter fans, calma. Yes, we've lost Hakimi. Yes, this financial situation at Inter doesn't look great at the moment, and Suning's situation doesn't look great at the moment. But when you look at what's going on elsewhere, I'm not particularly worried, guys. I'm not really particularly worried. Allegri coming back at Juventus has been the only thing that worries me. An actual coach at Juventus means an extra 10 to 12 points already for them, bringing an elite coach like Allegri back compared to a non-coach like Pirlo. Yeah, and as Ahmad said, not too scared of our rivals. We sold one of our top players, and we're still the best squad in the league. Yeah, I'm struggling to disagree with that with Simone there. When you look at it, yes, we're going to downgrade from Hakimi, but when you think about it, I keep saying the midfield is probably upgraded now, depending on what happens with Eriksen. Imagine if Eriksen does come back into the fold, the midfield is completely stacked. And DiMarco, going from Ashley Young to DiMarco, for me is a slight upgrade there. Yes, DiMarco might be a defensive liability at points, but so was Young last year. So I'm willing to give DiMarco the benefit of the doubt on those. And in terms of attacking output, I'm expecting a lot more from DiMarco already compared to Ashley Young. So we've upgraded there. Cenk, hey, we got Cenk in the house. Thoughts on Cuti Romero to Spurs? Yeah, I briefly touched on him there. Hey, that's a great signing for you guys, man. He quite rightly, it was either between Skriniar and Romero to win the Serie A Defender of the Year. And for me, it should have been Skriniar. You might say, obviously, he's into bias, but just because of, the way Skriniar was, consistent. But Romero changed the way Atalanta played last season, the way he came in. Atalanta's always been, shaky defensively. But when you look at it facts-wise, I think they only conceded one less goal than they conceded the season before without Romero. So all in all, really, did he make that much of a difference? But yeah, front-footed defender, fearless, modern, like good on the ball, old school. Like he's like Walter Samuel. Like he goes in for those dirty tackles from behind. He lets you know he's there early on. He's gonna fit into the Premier League in terms of that. He's got good pace on him. He wins aerial duels. He's aggressive. I love him, man. I love Christian Romero. And I said it even last year. I thought under Gasperini he would do well, and he did. So yeah, 55 million I think is a good deal. I think that's what he is worth. So if you do sign him, great signing. Paratici is doing the right thing by bringing in Cuti Romero. So absolute boss. As you said, thank you, Gasperini. Yeah, you gotta thank him for improving that guy, because he wasn't that good at Genoa last year. He wasn't, or the season before, he wasn't. He looked a bit shaky, but you could see there was a player there. But obviously, Genoa were a struggling team then. So yeah, you fire me up, Sean. Hey, Brady. Hey, thank you for the recommendation on Trailer Park Boys. By the way, man, that Canadian show is so good, man. I've been enjoying it. I'm already on season 3. in the last few days. I've just been binge watching it. It is Canadian excellence right there. It's not a headache. Suning don't want to pay the players. Hey, Lord Figo in the house. Shouts out, man. Lord Figo, Inter legend, Inter Twitter legend, obviously. Zhang family is using the players Inter win a championship, and the way Suning is acting, you think Inter came 8th. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. The way Suning have behaved after Inter won the Scudetto is not fitting of a Scudetto winning team. These players should have got contract renewal straight away. They should have got their bonuses straight away. Antonio Conte should have been convinced about staying. But this is their fault of how they ran Suning the outside of Inter. This is, things that are outside of Inter. But I agree. I'm not going to be as harsh as you are in terms of, completely Suning's fault, but they have their faults. But again, they're not idiots. I feel like they'll be able to turn the situation around. Hopefully they were able to ride out this COVID wave, and things will hopefully improve in China in terms of the economy, and things will in terms of the government regulation, the government restrictions that the Chinese government have placed. Hopefully those kind of ease in the coming season. And so yeah, Paul in the house, you deserve more. I'm going to remind you, I was here after you got big. You got this much love. Hey, appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. Suning is billionaires, but can't give Lautaro a good contract. Hey, we'll see, man. I think they will. That's it, Juha. Or Yuha. I hope I said your name right. We shouldn't be scared of others. They should be scared of us. They should be scared of this badge. I know it's the old one, but yeah, they should be scared of this badge. We are the Scudetto winners. Operation Second Star incoming next season, guys. Operation Second Star. So we're on a 19. We won that 20th, so we get that second star on the patch. We're not here to play around, man. We're not here to play around. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can blame Suning, but the CCP don't play, guys. Yeah, the Chinese government is not like the English or Italian government. They control everything. Like once the Chinese Communist Party say something, that's how shit goes down. And you got no say in that. So that's just how it is, man. That's just how it is. Forza AC Milan, hey, you might be on the wrong channel, brother. But no, I appreciate you. Even if you're not an Inter fan, I know there's a lot of Serie A guys. And in general, I will be doing more Serie A general content coming in the season as well. Favorites for the Scudetto at the moment, I'm not going to say that. I think Juve are favorites for the Scudetto, in my opinion, just because of the Allegri factor. Last season, Inter were favorites because of the Antonio Conte factor and the squad. But this season, the squad is still there, but I feel like the Allegri factor just edges Juve there. But we're right behind them. We're not like, behind them. But Juve are favorite. Yeah, that's my opinion. You guys might disagree with me, and that's fine. But for me, Juve, the wage budget, Ronaldo, the squad depth, Allegri, most importantly, as I said, Allegri on his own, I think brings in that extra 10 points for them this season. But Inter, once again, they're not going anywhere. We're right up there. Inzaghi, I have faith in Inzaghi. Let Inzaghi cook. And I believe in this Inter team. We should believe in ourselves. We should, man. We should. There's no reason not to believe in this Inter team, man. There's no reason. I'm confident. Especially, guys, if Nandez comes in, like that squad is right there. And I think, as I said, I'm looking forward to see what Inzaghi does with Lukaku. Immobile won a golden boot under Inzaghi, guys. You guys saw Immobile in this Euros. He's a great striker, but he's not an elite striker, especially when it comes to coming deep and trying to play with players. He's a fox in the box. He's a great goal scorer. And Inzaghi's system is a lot more vertical, a lot more attacking. If Lukaku can get more chances, more shots on goal, I can see Lukaku scoring 30 plus goals under Inzaghi, and even Lautaro getting more goals, the midfielders getting more goals. I'm excited about this Inter under Inzaghi, guys. I'm starting to get more and more excited about this season. Can Juve win a title with Szczesny in goal? They won it with Szczesny in goal the previous season with Sarri. Szczesny was there. I think Szczesny is quite underrated, actually. I quite like Szczesny. But yeah, Champions League is definitely one thing that we need to improve in, and that's one thing that Inzaghi has already shown, that his style of play is a little bit more European than Conte's, and I think we will do better this season in the Champions League, and we're in the in the first what's it called, the first band, the first phase, or what's it called, whatever, I forgot the name now, it escapes me, but yeah, we're the top teams at the moment, so it should help us get an easier group, hopefully. Hopefully we won't get the group of death this year. So it was Yuha. Fair enough. Part one, that's the one. Part one. Forgot English there. I've been speaking for an hour, almost losing my voice. Yeah, I think we can go at least this year, guys. I'm not gonna I want to say the squad and see the group that we're in, but we can at least go to the knockout phase and the quarterfinal stage. This Inter team is good enough to at least get to the quarterfinal, semi-final stage, especially when you look at the teams that get there. You see how far Porto got last year, how far Ajax have been getting the last few seasons. Even if your team isn't high quality, you should be able to get into the quarterfinal stages, semi-final stages, depending on which side of the draw you get. So this team is able to get into those later stages of the round. I'm not deluded enough to say that we can win the Champions League, but yeah, you can definitely get into the later stages, man. Exactly. Limone took, that Lazio team to round of 16, playing good football against the likes of Dortmund and Sevilla and stuff like that. So yeah, I have faith in him. But yeah, guys, I've been talking for an hour 15. Yeah, I think Inter can be the team that goes furthest in the Champions League, Italian teams for sure. I think this year we can represent Italy. But yeah, an hour 16 I've been talking for. I hope you enjoyed the stream, guys. As always, guys, before you leave, I appreciate you commenting and interacting, but make sure you leave a thumbs up before you leave the stream, because it helps the channel. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate your help. I appreciate you interacting always. I love all you guys, even if you're Inter fans, even if you're Juve fans. There's a few Juve fans here that always interact. I always appreciate you all. But yeah, guys, that was me for today. We talked about Brozovic, we talked about Lautaro, we talked about loads of things. We even talked about Volendam. I never thought I'd be talking about Volendam in my time. But yeah, here we are. A variety of topics we covered today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and always keep a lookout for my streams. Transfer rumor content will be coming on, but obviously look out for the Serie A content that we're coming. Obviously, Serie A predictions. We're getting Serie A people on the channel, Roma fans, Lazio fans, to kind of preview the season and talk about that kind of stuff. Keep a lookout for the Nandes. Obviously, we'll be reacting as soon as the Nandes deal happens. It will happen. I promise you, it will happen. I'll look like an idiot if it doesn't happen, but I think it will happen. I'm confident. And yeah, ciao ragazzi. Thank you everyone for joining, and I'll see you on the next one. And as always, Forza Inter.